Okay, hi everyone. First of all, I'd like to say hi to my daughters Edie and Liza, who apparently are watching this from home. Let's see if they pay attention to the end. I'll be quizzing them about it when I get back home. I'm going to tell you a bit about what the subject librarian team in DCU have been doing with e-learning over the last few years. What you see up here is the old version of our Let's library e-tutorial for students that was first launched in 2008. We created the content, but it was designed by kind of third-party outside designers. So we had full control over the text, so that's just all plain HTML. There are elements in there like video elements that we added over the years, and some Flash elements as well, which kind of give some interaction with students. However, we didn't have kind of the products in place to be able to control this. So in this particular example, there was a little mistake in there which we weren't able to change. And so kind of little mistakes like that were building up over the years. So in 2014, we decided to make some kind of bigger changes to that. So what we did first was we migrated all of the content to an e-learning package called Articulate Storyline, which gave us a lot more flexibility to do things with it. For one thing, it meant that all of the content would be would be mobile friendly, so things would work okay with tablets and things like that, which wasn't the case beforehand. And we also made the decision to migrate it away from the library's website over to our VLE Moodle, which in one way was kind of making it a bit more hidden for students. Yeah, students had to log in and register for it first, but it also meant that we had access to really detailed analytics about what students were using it and how they were using it, things like that. So here's a few examples of what it looked like. So it's a cleaner and more consistent interface. What you see there is a webcast on using the catalog that we created ourselves. Still a lot of kind of a very text-based content in there. And so we did a soft launch in September. As of February, we had 800 enrollments. This would all have been, I suppose, kind of the equivalent of walk-in students who just kind of signed up off their own bat. Which out of about 4,000 new students per year was pretty good. They all used it to differing degrees. Most of them would just kind of dip in, get a little bit out of it and take it out. Didn't bother with our quizzes or interactions. So just over 100 students got full marks in all the quizzes. And was very surprised that we got over 400 responses on our feedback forums. It was just a very simple, what did you think of this? Like an open question like that, one single box. So it was mostly positive feedback, a bit like this. It was great to get good praise like that. People saying it's quick, easy, and efficient was very useful for them. And plenty of constructive feedback as well. Things that we kind of knew ourselves, but it's good to hear it coming from students, that it was maybe a bit too kind of texty, a bit too much information in there, kind of we're overloading the students a bit. And they wanted more interaction with it, more questions, be able to engage with it a bit more. And some not so constructive feedback. The content was sometimes embedded in students' modules. I'll talk a bit more about that later. And that one, I like that one. But this one was my favorite. That's the live log of kind of feedback as it came in. And you can see here, over the space of a few minutes, someone wrote not impressed. Then it was a waste of my time, not impressed. So was this the same person, presumably? And then a few minutes later, not impressed yet again. I wonder if this was the same person doing great crack, being sarcastic. But you can see, like, most of the feedback was really positive there. So what we decided to do for 2015 was do a complete redesign of it. And so what we've done is we've already agreed the curriculum, what we're doing. So we've taken a lot out of that. Redesign it more as a tutorial which students can do in a single sitting rather than being as a kind of an instruction manual, kind of something that kind of has absolutely everything crammed in there, which I think all of us as teaching librarians tend to do in our classes, just kind of cram lots of content into our PowerPoint slides and kind of just get the content out there, not really expecting students to engage with it or learn it. And so so the tutorials are designed to be kind of, I suppose, something that a student will be able to complete each section in about half an hour, and we'd reasonably expect them to have a good idea and remember this a week later. But then like I said, we got a lot of positive feedback with this, so we don't want to change it too much, don't want to fix what we know is already working quite well. And in this, so far I've been inspired by a lot of good e-learning that's out there. I've been doing a few MOOCs as a student over the last years, and it's been really inspiring seeing e-learning that actually works. For a long time I was looking at bad e-learning, which really it's like being back in school. It makes you feel a bit stupid. It's content which is kind of technically perfect, but it just doesn't engage with you. And after 2 minutes, your brain switches off, and you think, "What, do I have a concentration problem?" But as you learn a bit more about e-learning, you realize that it's just content that's not designed to engage with students, and that's something we really want to address with Let's in the new version of it. Some of the enhancements we're going to make to it are in collaboration with the Teaching Enhancement Unit in DCU. We're going to add a digital badge to this. This is a bit like the badges you get in Boy Scouts, where it's just a kind of a small reward for someone who's kind of gone through the trouble of completing this. So students can add this to their e-portfolios or their LinkedIn accounts, things like that. And the TU unit are adding these for different kind of elements across DCU. The way it integrates with modules in DCU at the moment is that there's a position on Moodle for Let's, and then if an academic wants to include in one of his modules, he has to actually upload it manually into the tutorial. So we're getting a clip of kind of the walk-in students on the left-hand side who kind of sign up themselves, but we can't really see what happens when it's uploaded into a different module. Then that's kind of invisible to us. But what's going to happen from 2016 or 2015 is that we're going to have links within Moodle so that all lecturer has to do in their own module is just add the link themselves, and then they'll be able to see how the students performed in tests there, what kind of marks they're getting, but also those marks will migrate back to the main Let's, so we'll be able to see what everyone in DCU is doing with the tutorials. And in terms of the redesign, we're going to try and move away from it being as text heavy. Kind of, there's quite a lot of kind of well written, but it's very much kind of dry technical writing in there. So have more kind of video instruction. In the past, we had some videos there, but it was all interviews with students and lecturers. The subject librarians, the people creating the content, were quiet and invisible for all of that. So we want to change that a bit, and a lot more kind of interaction, a lot more quizzing to get students more involved in it, to help them kind of to engage with it and kind of to remember it. We're going to be creating all of the content in-house, so pros and cons to that. We'll have complete control of it. It won't be slick, but hopefully it'll all be pedagogically sound. And we're going to be launching this in September 2015. And a few examples of demos of work I've got in mind for this. This is all bound to change. Here we've got a page where there's kind of a series of videos there explaining how academic journals work. Each video is tabbed so students can go to the section they want quickly. That's kind of, I suppose, it's just a videoed PowerPoint presentation with the instructor down at the bottom explaining how peer review works, and then a little simple question at the end. So aim to have a kind of at least kind of one question or one interaction every 5 minutes to keep things ticking over, to keep people engaged. Another couple examples here. That's a drag and drop interaction. Again, it's in demo, so it'll be a bit more polished when we finish that, where students have to choose the differences between popular journals and academic journals. That's one I made a few months ago. It's an interactive walkthrough of how to get books from the shelves, every step from having the book on your reading list to finding it on the catalogue to actually kind of physically getting it on the shelves. And plenty of potential for further work after this. Once we've got this version of Let's bedded down, we're going to be creating an all-new tutorial in the medium term, Let's Write on academic writing skills. We're going to make that in collaboration with the Student Support and Development Unit in DCU. Also some work going on myself, forking Let's. So I'm going to create a customized business version of that for use with first-year business students. And then further on from that, we've plenty of potential of building on the skills we're kind of developing ourselves with this kind of e-learning technology to put it to work for other types of students, so final year students, postgraduates, etc., and creating more content there. And finally, shout out to the subject librarian team who are all going to be working on this, and looking forward to a summer getting stuck into all this work. So that's me slightly early finished. Thanks.